Hey party people, and welcome back to MVM. And today I'm here with a Kickstarter preview for the base game of Villagers, and it is called Shifting Seasons, which is a little deck box. But if you don't know what Villagers is, it's a card drafting game and tableau builder. You're going to be drafting cards from a row of available cards and also from a stack, and what you're doing is building those cards to build up a tableau, and that tableau will represent your villagers. You'll be building trees, scoring different scoring combos in 2 marketing phases, and now you have this expansion that's seeking funding on Kickstarter. This will add several different modules, new cards, new solo mode, all kinds of stuff, which we will talk about today. Hopefully I help you make an informed backing decision. Let's get to the table. This will be super quick. We'll come back with my final thoughts. All right, party people, I have the villagers set up on my table with some of the minor things that are coming in the expansion so you can get an idea of how this game works. And for the people who know what's up, they'll start to see some of the new stuff in here as I mention it. So this is laid out for 2 players. You're going to start with your founders for your village. You got your village square tile, which acts as a player aid as well. 8 money and 5 cards for your hand. What you'll be doing is over the course of an unknown amount of rounds, you're going to be drafting cards from either these stacks right here or from the road right here. And that will go in your village square. You'll have a build phase where you build cards out, which is going to be building out your display. And that's how you're going to build your scoring combos for the game. And then you'll have events. If there's an event that is uncovered at the end of your round, then you'll have the event phase, which is something that's new in the Villagers. In the base game, you're just going to have marketing phase when you get to it. There are 2 marketing phases in the game, and those will allow you to score based on your cards that are facing on top of there. In the first marketing phase, you'll score your gold. In the second marketing phase, you'll score your gold and your silver. So you'll be scoring that gold twice, and that's what you want to do. You want all that gold because gold is the way you win the game. Whoever has the most gold wins. So here we go. I'm just going to take turns drafting cards. Now you can get to a point where you draft more cards. You just have to make sure you have these cards that have food on it. But in the beginning of the game, you can only draft up to 2 cards. So what will happen is we will take turns drafting 1 card until we run out of turns for your number here. So I'm just going to draft, and you don't know why I'm drafting this stuff, but I'm just going to draft for the long game. As a matter of fact, I'm going to draft one of these. I'm going to draft the tenor right here. And then I'll place the card from the leftmost stack on there. And I'll put it on top of here so that you know how many cards I'm drafting. The other player will draft, let's say the beekeeper right here. So they're going to draft the beekeeper. We'll flip these over here. Boom. Let's see. The first player is going to draft. They're going to go for some food in the long game. So they're just going to guess. They're going to go with the grocer. All right, so then they replace right here. And they're going to go with, I think they're going to go with this hay right here. Oh, they got an oil mule. They got a mule right there. All right. So what happens is now the players will choose which cards will stay by putting a gold coin on top of this. So you just put a coin on here. Maybe they want the milkmaid and the other player wants the carpenter. And then in a multiplayer game that's higher than 2 players, what would happen is they would take these cards out that are left over here and put more on there with more gold. Now, I'm just going to pull these off. These become part of the discard, and we replace like so. And those are the only 2 cards that stay, like that. And then we just keep going. Now, this card is unveiled. That means we're going to have an event phase. Now, I should say that we have new cards in here. These are the clay faction. They'd be shuffled in here. And all they do is add more scoring and juicy combos here into there. Now, the base game also has special cards. There are new special cards in here as well. Some of them will add the ability to take 3 basic villagers, which we're about to talk about. Some of them will break some of the scoring patterns in this game. Let me go ahead and be accurate here. Some of these will add more drafting during the drafting phase, which you can do up to 5. Some of them will allow you to break rules as far as what's on the top and what you have to pay for. So there's a lot of different little cards in here. There's just, let's see, 7 of these. So just paying attention, this all gets shuffled in. That's what this game does, what this expansion does. So now we are going to build, and all we're doing is building either basic villagers, which we can build up to 3, and then we also have builds, which right now we can build 2 cards. We would take these cards into our hand, and then we would just build. And what this game is it's just a straight up tableau builder. So what you're going to be doing is either building cards that have matched up icons. So maybe I want to pay for this hair. In order to pay for the hair, I got to get rid of a card. So I can get rid of a card and place it on top of here. And then I can add to the hair because these cards have a little icon that says I can have 2 cards. And what that does is it splits, kind of splits the top there, and it makes for another area that I can play an extra card on. I also have the wheeler, so I'm going to go ahead and discard this, put it on any stack, get a miner, and I will put on the blacksmith like that. And that would be my 2 builds. That's kind of how that goes. I'm not going to do another sign of that. Now what happens is as we get to the marketing phase, which is going to be before, which will be before events. So events will happen and then we'll have the marketing phase. We will score points based on or receive gold based on what icon gold is on the top. That can come from unlocked cards. That can come from a combination of different icons. But that will happen again. The scoring will happen again when we get to the second marketing phase. That's basically Villagers in a nutshell. But now we're going to go to what's called the event phase. Now these events are from the expansion. This is a spring event, we have a summer, we have an autumn, and then we have the winter. And what these events do is they kind of spice it up a little bit. Like this one right here, I can go through one of these stacks and then take a card that I want and shuffle them. I may be able to go to the discard pile and get a card out of there. I may add more money to cards on this display. I may be able to exchange a card with another player. There's so many different things in here. I'm trying to think of all the ones that are in here. Adding gold. This one right here, Townsfolk, flips the cards flips this decks of cards upside down so you can see what's at the bottom of these decks. There's all these different expansion events that are going to be added to this just to spice the game up, and there are multiple for each season. After you evaluate those, you'll flip those face down. I forgot to mention that there are cards now, basic villagers, called the Harvest Team. You can discard 2 cards, and if you discard those 2 cards, you can now add this to your area. It's a solitary card. It even has an icon on there that you can use for scoring combos, and that's all the gameplay that it adds to the multiplayer. So you got your events, you got your clay faction, you got new your new special cards, you also have your new builders in there, and then you have your events. Now they also have a solo mode. The solo mode adds a turn order card, a kind of an AI card turn structure. What happened in the base game, there's a Countess that has multiple events. It can be brutal. I haven't won against the Countess. But what you can do in this one is you can just play your turns. Play them for, just to learn and get better at the game, or you just want a more relaxed solo mode that's beat your score. All you're going to do is take your turn, and then you'll follow this turn order on how the AI will draft. It's very easy, very relaxing, and if you add the expansion stuff in there, you get more rounds to play. That's really it. Let's go ahead and get to my final thoughts. I told you it wasn't going to be long. This is a very easy game to get into, and the shifting season expansion just adds more of that opportunity to make money. All right, y'all, let's do it. All right, party people, final thoughts here on Villager Shifting Seasons. Now, you have to decide if this is worth your time and money, right? You're deciding if this little box is worth investing even another $1 into this game, Villagers, which has enough modules from the first Kickstarter. Or maybe you missed out on the Kickstarter and you played the game and you loved it, okay? And then maybe you have the game and you don't get all the expansions. So this full reprint of the base game may be enough for you to get. But for people who own this, there's an opportunity to get more modules. And that modules mainly adds these season cards. And the season cards are going to spice up the game, right? And if that's enough for you, definitely take a look at this game. But overall, it just adds a little bit extra each time, and that's what Villagers does well. It adds small little modules that change up the gameplay and make it feel fresh. And you can go as deep as you want or as light as you want. In fact, the solo mode is a good idea of how that goes. It's like the Countess is just creaming you every time you play this game. Well, now they have a beat your score that makes the pleasing, the pleasing turns of just doing the drafting, build up a nice tableau. It's a good training module if you want to take it that way. Now you have the option. It makes things a lot more simpler. So what I'm saying is that Shifting Seasons has a lot more to offer that makes this game even more attractive, more variable to play, and just adds so much more replay value into the game experience. I think I can say that confidently because if you know you own villagers, you can see a lot of little wrinkles in there that may spice up your game. And that's kind of the stuff that I look for in expansion. But I'm going to let you decide what you want to do with your money, because I never tell anybody what to do with their money, but hopefully I helped you make an informed backing decision. I want to thank Sinister Fish for sponsoring this game, and I want to thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions about this game specifically, I always answer questions pretty straightforward in the comments below, so go ahead and please ask away. And with that, party people, thank you so much once again for your time, and you have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me on MVM.